Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another small block exploration rover. This thing sitting right behind me is called the Rallycat Dunerunner, which is a very small survival ready rover that can go out and about and scout for ore patches. It can transport you and up to 2 other people from one place to another, and it can last a fairly long time due to the batteries on this, and it comes with a small container in the form of a barrel for you to take a few bits and bobs with you on your adventure. We have a searchlight on top that can double as a camera, a full 360 camera, and it does come with a very unique wheel setup that works very well if you were to use, say, the tank tracks over vanilla wheels mod. Now this mod I did a showcase on not too long ago, and has proved to be very popular on the Steam Workshop, so grabbing hold of my character very quickly before I go any further, come over to this one which I have activated the mod on. As you can see here, we've got tank tracks on the back wheels, our front wheels remain the same, but it just looks overall a lot better in my opinion, due to the way it all works, and due to the way the actual tank tracks themselves go with the contours on the mudguards below that seat and ore detector. But anyway, that's entirely up to you if you want to do that. There'll also be links to that mod in the description below along with the vehicle. But now back over to this one, and we'll just bring the free camera all the way over once again, pressing F10, finding it in the spawn menu. The Rallycat Dunerunner is 99 small blocks, and it uses a couple of the DLC packs. It uses no mods, it uses no scripts, but it does have a nice bit of information about it up here, a nice in-depth story about it. Then down here we've got an author's note, where we can see it's set up to actually transport this person from one place to another, as a very cheap visit your neighbour's rover. So we'll go and give this thing a thumbs up, move around towards the very front, have a quick look around the outside, then go and test out, drive it around for a bit, maybe remove the speed limits, and drive it to destruction. My character can now bugger off just a little bit. Ooh, that's the wrong way, he bashed straight into it. And yes, this is what we get for the very front of the Rallycat Dunerunner. So right in the very middle, and what makes up part of the main body of the vehicle, is some orange steel blocks, surrounded by some lovely light brown blocks, and armoured panels to make up the rest of the vehicle. We'd also see 2 spotlights in a lovely yellow colouring, and a grey colour for the actual blocks themselves. And around onto the side here, all the way around, here we go. This is what we get for this side. So starting at the very front, then got our wheel with our lovely mudguards in once again that light brown colouring. We then have separating our 3 wheels right in the middle here to be able to get up and into that saddle cockpit, a barred window on top of a beam block, so you can pretend your character comes up to this, steps on that, hops on over onto the actual saddle cockpit itself, and then drives away. Anyway, moving away from this, come around towards this section, we then got a seat for your passengers to sit on, with one on the opposite side. There's our ore detector, we've already talked about that. On the top there's our searchlight to double as our 360 camera. There's our barrel to store a few bits and bobs inside, with 2 interior lights on the very top of it. They've got some neon tubes acting as some fake antennas. And then down below here, which we've also already talked about, is our 2 wheels, which does look fantastic, with the tank track over vanilla wheels mod on it. Anyway, behind there's our battery, which is our main form of power on this. In fact, our only form of power on this, so we can drive for a nice long time, but we will have to be very careful because if we do run out, we're not going to be able to recharge this up, and we would be a sitting duck. Come around towards the very back of this thing, then you've got an exhaust block to shoot out a little bit of smoke, but you can turn it on and off as you please. And this is what we get for the very back of this thing. We've got our access panel for our barrel to store our stuff inside. On the opposite side next to our other seat is a beacon to make sure we can always find this thing. And then down to here to dock it up is our small connector, our small ejector, whatever you want to call it. Yes, to reverse this thing up, lock it in place, and to recharge your batteries. Right next to that we then got another interior light, this time a red light acting as your brake light. Then moving all the way up looking down, here we go, there's our lights along the top of our barrel, there's our searchlight on top. Across to there's a little step up for the opposite side for our cockpit. Then right over to there we go, we see our wheel suspensions clipping through those orange blocks. There's how our lights have been set up at the very front. Moving all the way down underneath this thing, here we go. Not too much to talk about here, but there's our batteries at the back. There's how our wheel suspensions have been connected up onto our steel blocks. And we're getting a bit closer over to here so we can actually see what's going on with these wheels. So yes, they are just clipping straight through the steel blocks. There's our batteries, and of course our connector and inset light at the back. And there we go, so that's that for the outside of the Rallycat Dunerunner, and for what it is, it looks bloody fantastic with how it's all been set up. A hell of a lot of work has been put onto this in sheer detail, due to how small this thing actually is. In fact, I'll grab on my character, bring it all the way over, so my character is now standing right next to it. This thing is absolutely tiny, and with all the blocks on here, with all the stuff that's got on here, it does look bloody fantastic, and it's easily upgradable if you do want to have, say, guns on this, if that's what you want. You can easily remove these spotlights at the front here, and attach on some Gatling guns, attach on some autocannons, if that's what you want to do with this thing. But as it stands, it's a great little thing for scooting around, searching for ore patches, and of course going over to neighbouring bases, which is what the creator intended this for. So grabbing hold of my character, what I'm going to do is in fact come over to this one, the tank tracks on it, because I do absolutely love that mod. Yeah, we're going to get into the seat, bring up the HUD. These are the only controls we get. Wait, number one's going to be to turn on and off our lights all the way around this. This could be for our lights at the front, lights at the back, and our spotlight on top. So clicking that, it lights up. Changing this to nighttime. So over to there we go. There's our nice ominous glow coming off of this thing. Yes, number two is then going to be to take over our searchlight. So now spin this around, see what's going on, get good zoom in at any kind of enemies trying to attack us from up on that cliff. And of course just to, well, get a general lay of the land. Putting this round to the front, coming out there, turning off the light, and bring the light back around. So over to there will do quite nicely. Number three, number four is for your wheels to increase the power or to decrease the power depending on what you want. That's personal preference at the end of the day, but I'm going to keep it on the standard amount that I spawned this in with. Number five is then for your beacon to turn that on and off. Number six is then for your exhaust block, so spin the camera all the way around. Pressing that, now going to shoot down a little bit of smoke. Turning that off. Number seven is then for your auto detector on and off. Number eight is then for your batteries to auto recharge, and that will shut power completely. So do be aware of that if you were to accidentally hit that button. Anyway, the last control is for our connector at the back there to lock and unlock it. And as for that, it's time to drive this thing around. So what I will mention right now is the tank tracks do not actually have any kind of functionality on the wheels themselves. So regardless of me having this mod turned on or off, so regardless of which vehicle I choose, it's all going to handle the same. So moving forwards, here we go. Just driving along like so. As you can see, we've got a nice bit of speed, but it's not too fast. It does take quite a lot of time to actually get all the way up. And eventually we will hit maximum speed, but we are wobbly, we are wibbling around. And I think it's time for me to slam on the brakes to see how this handles. So slamming this on, there we go. And there we are, there's no resisting tipping forwards, due to the fact it has been perfectly planned out with its overall weight and mass. Doing a full 360, now this is the part when I was testing it out, where it did have a bit of a problem. So this is me holding forwards and holding left. It does have quite a large turning radius, where as we get faster and faster and faster, it does really feel like it's going to tip over. But it doesn't really want to. No, it does seem perfectly fine, even though it does feel a bit scary in first person view. We can keep going up and up and up. There's absolutely no risk of this thing ever flipping over. Yes, once again slamming on the brakes. There we go. And I think it's time for me to now properly drive this thing around, because there's not too much else to talk about with this thing. So facing away in, I believe, that direction right there. Then we'll give this a proper little test. What I'm going to do is now just increase the power of the wheels just a little bit there, make it a bit more dangerous. And as you can see there, the wheels are not too happy, so I'm going to put that all the way down. And hopefully that'll be a bit better. There we go, that's a lot better, being on 1% power. That is a little odd to be that low, but hey who, what can you do about that? Yes, driving this thing around, we seem to cap out at about 55 meters per second, which is perfectly fine. Going above 60, as I always said, is usually the danger zone with these vehicles. Does tend to be where the game just sort of randomly explodes, or maybe a rock just pops in at the last second, or maybe a random little dip in the ground. Oh god, that looks terrible. Yes, maybe a random dip in the ground, kind of like that, or just appear out of nowhere. Now what I have noticed right here, which I did forget to test out before making this video, is that we do not have a gyroscope on this. So for jumping over a cliff like what I just did, we cannot turn this thing around, we cannot move it up to actually try and minimize the damage to the top of this vehicle, because if we land on our wheels, if we destroy the wheel suspensions and stuff underneath it, at least our cargo container on top, or at least the barrel on top, would be in one piece. But no, without that gyroscope is a bit of a problem. So I suppose what we could do if you did want to have a gyroscope on this, if I just hold out this like so. And yes, if you were wondering why this didn't take any damage, or why the voxels didn't take any damage, because I was testing a gigantic mech, one of the Warhammer giant walking citadel things, one of the giant walking churches, which I was planning to do a video on, but it was a little bit big for the time I had to record this. Anyway, back to this, over to here and finding a gyroscope. Here it is. You could always remove that, place that in there like so. You don't really need to have that red light on the back there, because you do have the beacon lighting up the darkness. People can see you from behind, but say you don't want to have it there, so you do want to have that light on that, you could always come up to here and place it right next to that searchlight. Yes, it would block your camera view from the right hand side, but at least it gives you a way to actually recover stuff if you do a dodgy jump. Yes, other than that, that's pretty much it for this vehicle. Hats off, actually putting the gyroscope on there has made a huge difference being able to turn this thing around on the spot. So you may really want to actually attach that onto that. Yes, now putting the power all the way back up on the wheels. There we go. We now go all the way up this lip. And where we go once again. But yes, as I was saying, that is pretty much it for all this vehicle has to offer. It's a fantastically designed vehicle to get you from one place to another in ease and in style. It's very easily upgradable for what you want to do, because we are going really fast around this. It's quite scary having the gyroscopes on here, because we're now just moving around there and it's starting to follow all the lay of the land. But yes, as I was saying, once again, it's a very good vehicle to use in your world if you want to have something to go from one place to another with ease and in style. Very easily upgradable and very fun to use. So there'll be a link to the description below to which you download it and play around it yourself, and I recommend you do, as well as a link to the mod I'm using for the tank tracks on the rear wheels. And I'll be back with another video sometime soon. Bye bye.